We are live.
Go ahead, Navneet.
We are live, please.
Yes. Thank you, Navneet.
Thank you.
Good evening, friends, and welcome to a very important and a wonderful show being put up by Microvision on behalf of the All India Ophthalmic Society. This is something which is going to hit us very hard. If you're already not into it, you are already late. Like you don't have a website, you're already too late. You don't have a social media, you are late, very late. But having said that, with the AI coming up and a lot of parameters being changing, we are going to go into a very interesting phase of life. And to talk about what's happening, how, if at all you missed the bus, you're not really, there's always time to catch up. There's a lot more happening. There is no way you can escape social media today. For good, bad, ugly, you need to understand the logistics. You want to catch off the screen, Navneet, you got to escape. Navneet? Yes, that's right. So social media is here to stay. It's going to take you over and it's there for stay. Everybody is hooked on to their Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, name it, name it, name it. And unless you know how to deal with it very well, you will have a big time challenging and working together in the environment. Without wasting more time, I'm going to have a very esteemed panel here who's going to be discussing multiple points of social media. At whatever stage you could be a beginner, you're a mid, or you're further. These are people who have got into it, have understood a lot, discussed a lot, already facing the flag at times, knowing what to do, and some great pioneers in the field. So let's go on without wasting much ado. We'll have about 6 to 7 minutes per speaker. We'll have a lot of discussion. Let's have some hot debates and arguments and come off with some very intelligent thing which we can share with each other. Thank you, all the participants, for being with us. Samita, Karishma, Nupur, Rahil, Ritika, thanks so much for participating with all your efforts. Let's start. I start with the first speaker. We have Samita Mulani to speak to us on digital media and social marketing for ophthalmologists. You're muted, Samita.
Thank you, AIOSS, for organizing this, and to Microvision, of course, to encourage all of these kind of topics. Very essential, like Sir already said. So why do you need to be on social media? I don't think anybody who's attending this right now should be asking this question at all. Everybody has a phone in their hand, and if you can't reach them through your phone, through their phone, you have missed out on an opportunity to market yourself. Of course, it's important to make connections, to become a thought leader, and most importantly for me personally, it's to put out medically inaccurate information. So the only way to fight fire is with fire. And to show this, there's a study that shows that out of all the information that is online about ophthalmology, only 35.8% is actually being put out by ophthalmologists. The rest is just being put out by people who are not qualified to share a lot of information. These are the different routes that we do have to share all of the content that we have and all of our knowledge. And I'm going to focus, of course, on Instagram, Facebook, and a little bit of YouTube. But we have other doctors here who can talk about these things in more detail. So these are my 10 commandments of social media. Everybody, whether you own a product from this brand, knows what this brand is, right? And that's my first commandment. Create a brand, decide who you are. Dr. Ritika is going to talk about
Ma'am,
the different,
excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am,
yes.
sorry to interrupt. Ma'am, your presentation is not coming on the full screen. I think there are two screens are shown on the screen. So you just reshare, I believe.
Okay,
You need to reshare, yeah.
one second.
So you are also seen on the screen and the presentation also is very small.
Is
Yeah.
that better?
Yes, that's better
All
now.
right,
Yeah, ma'am.
sure.
Thank you.
So, what is important is for you to define who you are, what is your USP, what is your soul, your personality, and your vision. And this may be different for every single person on this panel right now. So, for example, for me, I'm a second generation ophthalmologist. I believe in ethical, personalized practice, and my practice may differ tremendously from the other people on this panel and the person who practices right next door. So you need to stick to your brand and define yourself. And then what is important is also once you have decided what your brand is and what your personality is, then you create a profile that is effective. So you should have a good photograph, your name, different traits that identify you and set you aside from this. So this is important for whether you have Instagram account, Facebook, whether you have LinkedIn, any kind of social media platform or digital platform, you need to be represented in a similar fashion. Of course, there is a lot of argument about talking about niche today because for the past 10 years, we've been hearing the word stick to your niche, and all the big marketing agencies have been talking about it. But nowadays, Instagram appreciates if you have multiple kind of characteristics and if you're displaying multiple things because the different things that you're showing out will go to even larger audiences. So suppose your niche is being funny and in medicine. People who watch reels or content that like comedy and something medical will be targeted. But suppose I'm a traveler, I'm funny, and I'm in medicine. People who are also engaging with watching and absorbing travel content, those people will also be shown your content. So the main thing is how do you play each platform. Trust me, every platform wants to show your content because at the end of the day they want to identify every personality that has an account on their kind of platform. So they want to be able to identify that person and accordingly target ads and put out branded content to those same people. And Dr. Al will talk to us about branded content. But for me personally, I haven't ever done branded content in that sense. I don't use money in advertising. So I'm going to stick to what I know, and that is how to organically create your a profile on digital marketing platforms. So for being authentic is very, very important. If you present yourself to be something that you're not and the patient comes in, or you present yourself to have 100 technologies and the patient comes in and sees that you don't have any of them, so you have to be authentic, you have to be honest to your style. If you're humorous, if you like science, if you like art, you should share your reality, and that is where people will connect with you. So this is one of the very well-known influencers in ophthalmology, Rupa Wong, and she will share daily life stories about her children. She's a pediatric ophthalmologist, and these are stories and goals that hit the target audience and get viral. This is another Dr. Pallavi who's in Ahmedabad, who does beautiful before and after videos. So these are different ways to kind of show that what do you do. Consistency is of course something that is very challenging for a successful surgeon or someone who's doing well, because do you focus on work or do you focus on your social media? For me, I live in Pune, which is the sixth slowest traffic in the world currently. So I spend all my car time putting my content out myself. But yes, you should be consistent. If it's twice a week, then twice a week. If it's once a week, then once a week. But don't disappear. The ideal content strategy is what I've put here, but you can do as much as you can, unless, of course, you hire a team to do it, which is also a good way to do it if it's not something you can do. Your content should basically tell a story. Your content should be advertising to your target audience. What are you doing? So I am doing LDP, or someone put a great review of me, or I'm trying to show that my 73-year-old father is still practicing, because I keep hearing in my city that people are talking about the fact कि sir abhi काम नहीं करते हैं. So my content is also very strategic. For you, you're just looking at a cake. For me, I'm trying to put my content out to show people that yes, he's still in practice. Be specific and be relevant. Be relevant to everything. Trends are huge, pop culture is huge, use awareness days. Be geographically relevant. One of the things I've seen is people will use stock images of Caucasian people who are not your target audience. You should be using Indian stock images. There are enough and more. And read the news. You can use multiple types of ideas. This is what I was talking about. Using actual patients, all my pictures of my friends and family and relatives, I don't usually use actual patient pictures, but and basically you want to make people connect with that image. So using other Caucasian demographics is not the smartest thing if you are based in India and that is not your demographic. Look at what your demographic is and collaborate. You can collaborate with brands, but be true to what is correct and what is wrong. Do not collaborate with a brand and try and make money out of it when it's actually against what you should be promoting. You can collaborate with colleagues, patients, bloggers, influencers, and you can bring in a lot more. So these are some of the examples. I have a very famous nutritionist who comes to me. She posted one post and I literally got 500 followers in one day, organic followers. There is no value of organic followers. Similarly, someone asked me to do a post on their stories, a very, very famous beauty influencer on astaxanthin. It got me over 200 followers, and I collaborate with different doctors all over India all the time to keep it fun, light, and for my own followers to stay interested. Set a goal, use all the new widgets. So for example, if Instagram has launched edits, use edits. If they've launched polls, use polls, because the more widgets that you use from their technology, the more they're going to push this out. Use all the kind of gadgetry that any platform gives you, because the moment they launch it, you use it, it's like the first responder gets the most advantage, and all of these things will increase engagement. Do not ignore your audience. I've seen so many people will put out something, but people are asking questions below, but you're not responding. If you don't have the time, give your optometrist your phone to respond. Get someone else in the clinic to respond. These questions are usually very, very basic. And try and look at your analytics. So all the platforms have different ways of analyzing. So you can see these analytics. For me, I had almost 98.6 non-followers come on to just one single reel. So you look at your demographic, look at the age, look at which country is looking at your posts, where you're lacking. Earlier I used to have more women followers, now suddenly I have some more male followers. You can analyze which reels brought in who, which city people are looking at you more. And this is one of the most recent ones, the Donald Trump reel that crossed 1.3 million views. It's just going viral. Every day I get followers and I'm still getting comments on it every single day. So simple things can, and this is all organic. Like I said, I have not paid any money to get any of this going. At the most, I spend 500 rupees or 1000 rupees to get an editor to edit some reels for me where there are captions and a lot of information, but most of my reels I make myself. And Dr. Karishma will talk about the NMC guidelines and the ethics. But basically, I personally believe no naming and shaming or insulting people in front of other people. We are all still colleagues. So if you have a problem with someone, call them, speak to them. Don't publicly shame your colleague, because we cannot start fighting with each other. We need to be united together at least. Stop competing, stop comparing, and stop copying. Someone recently took a very, very viral reel of mine, which is hitting almost 2 million, cut me from the front and cut me from the back, and put her own picture in the front and in the back. And guess what? She has only 200 views on it. So the bottom line is Instagram also now, or Facebook, all of these websites know they have enough AI embedded in it. They can pick up copies. Your reel will not be shown to anybody. You will not make it big. You can be inspired. Definitely, you can do things that other people have done. And most importantly, please don't overthink it. Have fun with it. If this is causing you stress, either don't do it, or like my father says, pay and smile, hire a company to do it, and just don't burn out because of it. And this is just to conclude, this cone will show you how important it is that people should read, hear words, which means you should have a background, speech and pictures. These are some apps that will help. Consent is very, very important. And the last thing that I would say is, the goal for me personally is to be an educator in the medical content creator space. I am not an influencer, but if you are going to put content out there, don't forget to close the circle, which means if two boys have driven on a bike, this happened to me, all the way from Jodhpur to Pune just to see me and get their dry eye evaluated, then you need to make sure that you are the same personality that they saw on Instagram and when they come into your clinic. If they're going to come from all over the place for the person on social media, you need to be that person in person. You can't suddenly be khadus or busy or dismissive. So to make sure you close your circle, if you're putting all this effort on digital media, make sure that persona is also coming back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Samita. We'll come back for more questions later. But tell me, how many hours do you spend every day?
So it really varies for me. So some days no time at all, and sometimes I'll spend, if I'm doing batch content, maybe I'll spend 2 hours. I spend about 1 hour each way in my car. And if I'm doing batch, sometimes it's 20 minutes. It really depends on the day. It depends on the clinic. I don't push myself for that slide that I said that, oh, it has to be 2 to 6 a week or whatever. I do it at my own pace. And for me, I have tried to work with someone who will edit and everything. But the reality is, as doctors, we have to run through every word that is edited and put. It is our responsibility that whatever goes out should be accurate and not create more confusion. So that is the very important thing. So if I just give half information, someone edits it, puts it, sends it on WhatsApp, puts it on YouTube, and then suddenly it has created even more confusion than that information not having been out there in the first place. I'd rather not do it. So
Yeah,
it's
so it's
variable.
important. Consistency, as you said, is very important. Content is very important, and spending time personally. So it's not a time pass thing. You have to be serious because it means a word which is going out. And once a written word goes out, you can never eat it back again. It's there.
Absolutely.
It's there, and it'll always come and haunt you later. So be careful what you're saying at any given point of time. I'll come back to you on a lot of other questions because in the interest of time, but to make it more interesting, we have Dr. Karishma Wadia, who's going to speak to us on the ethical social media and organic growth. Now, there are people who don't understand the spelling of ethics. So here, Karishma is trying to explain to us what is ethics.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, AIOS, and thank you, Microvision. Thank you, Ashok sir, for this opportunity. And without wasting any more time, let's get to the presentation. So I think Dr. Samita has already covered why the need. I don't think anyone in this day and age needs to ask the question, why the need? Everyone is already on social media. So even if you are not marketing your business, you are going to go and browse it anyways. So if you're going to go and browse it, you may as well advertise what you are doing. So you need to be sure about what your marketing and branding goals are. And it's not just about Facebook and Instagram. There's a whole world out there. The point is that all of these need to convert into something, right? You're not sharing media just because it's fun or just because you have time. The idea is that wherever you share, it has to translate into something. That means it should translate into your website traffic. So people have to have a landing page. That means they have to land onto your website, read more about you, and then ultimately want to come to you for their eye evaluation. So what all does this involve? It could involve creating text messages, images, videos, or of course, if you choose to go the paid marketing way. But ultimately you start with your plan. So the plan is not just to post on Instagram and maybe Facebook. You have to have a plan where you are posting regularly on multiple platforms. But like was already mentioned, don't get overwhelmed. You can start small and then eventually grow. But ultimately they have to reach onto your website. So if you don't have a website, then that's where you begin. Let's go backwards, one step backwards. First get your website sorted and then go on to all of this. So who is your target audience? You need to figure. If you're, for example, looking at cataract, all right. So for cataract surgery, not just the patients of cataract are going to be scrolling Facebook, but their children are going to be also seeing your reels. So you're also looking at an audience between 40 to 50 because they're taking care of their ailing parents. What message do you want to send? Where would they be hanging out? You usually see our parents hang out on Facebook, not so much on Insta. But Gen Zs are all on Insta. So you need to figure which audience you are targeting or all. And what are you hoping to achieve in it? So ultimately, it all boils down to if you're passing on an informative message, then it's going to translate to some sort of patient clientele that you're going to achieve. And like I said, you want to build your conversion. But apart from that, you are creating awareness. So even if it didn't translate into a patient walking into your clinic, it created awareness in the community. The community is having a buzz and they're talking about you, which ultimately builds your brand identity. So it increases your communication and your interaction with whoever your target audience may be. So ideally, the strategy is multifaceted. And like I said, it might get overwhelming, but you must not let it get overwhelming for you. So ideally, you have to think of content, design it, brand it, blog regularly. You have to do everything. There has to be email marketing. Can you do everything? It may not be possible for a solo private practitioner if you are in a smaller setup, but you have to figure what's possible and what works for you. That's what it's all about. What works for you. Ultimately, bottom line, great social content has to be created. There's this beautiful post that came up on Facebook by Raghudeep Eye Hospital. Happy Promise Day. I've never even heard of this. Okay. But this Valentine's, take care of the eyes of your loved ones. It's a single one sentence line. But it is targeting the population, telling them, oh yeah, take care of your loved ones, take them for their eye checkup. It's reminding them, I haven't taken my mom for an eye checkup. Let me go. That's going to translate into somebody walking in with a cataract for an evaluation. You need to post on both, and the advantage of this entire thing is that you get to, with one click, post on Facebook and Insta at the same time. Whether it's your videos or whether it's your stories, you get to link the two accounts. The strategy has to be that you have to be consistent. Ideally, you could make a pattern in your grid, but there's no hard and fast rule for that. It's Instagram algorithm picks up people who are posting 2 to 3 times a week or maybe more frequently. You, like Dr. Samita mentioned already, need to look into your insights to figure out what is working for you the most. But anything that you post, whether it's a text, whether it's an image, whether it's in a video form, you need to drive your user engagement. So you need to have a question out there that is intriguing their curiosity and that they will respond to or want to reply to. For example, I have posted over here about what is a toric multifocal intraocular lens. So all that I've done is I've posted a regular slit lamp picture. It's not even the fanciest picture. I've just clicked it off my phone from my slit lamp and posted it. And I got around 20 comments on this asking about what is the kind of lens, what other lenses do we put. So what are we doing? We're increasing curiosity. We're creating awareness. We're increasing user engagement. And that's going to translate into someone wanting to come to you because you're using all these different technologies. But what are the disadvantages? This is very important. The disadvantage is that you need to do crisis management. So this is a Google review of a particular center, which they had sent me. They've got a 3-star review. But if you see next to that, they have only 2 reviews. One is the first one, which is 5 stars. And the second one is from a local guide who's given them a 1-star review with a lamba chauda explanation. Now, the worst thing that you can do is not respond to this. So it is your duty to respond to this. You can even pick up the phone, call them and address the issue, but you need to figure it out. And in an ideal situation, apart from just responding to it, you also need to take corrective measures and ultimately make the patient put a counter response that it was addressed. So address their grievances so that it can either be changed, modified, or taken down. This is somebody who's commented on my own review, Google review. And they put 2 stars. I've immediately replied saying, dear sir, we were unable to find any record of you visiting us. So I opened my EMR, I checked, there's no such patient in my system. I've immediately replied. Now, if he wants to reply, that's the onus is on him. But at least I've done the damage control at my end so that the audience knows that this could be just a random fellow. So always respond to reviews, whether they are positive or negative. Facebook is, according to me, a very easy way to spread information to what my parents' age group would be, because they are constantly on Facebook and for some reason they are overwhelmed by Instagram. There's no explanation why. In fact, Instagram is easier to just scroll through, but Facebook also incorporates a little text along with your pictures or videos. It's not only about videos. So over there, if they want to read through what's happening, they also get to read through it. So it's a good idea to spread informative posts on that. You need to have your own GMB, which is your Google My Business profile. This is what Google is going to pick up. So Google is always going to pick up reviews on your Google My Business profile. It is going to pick up the number of images that are uploaded, whether your profile is upgraded regularly by you or somebody else, so that it knows that there's activity happening here. I need to make sure this person is featured. The advantages are that, first of all, you're reducing your cost on marketing by just decreasing staff time doing all this. It's quite simple. You can do it by yourself, of course, with the possibility of revenue generation and selling more products, apart from the other collateral advantages that you would have. But you have to not jump onto the bandwagon. Just because one person is doing it doesn't mean everyone can do it. You do need to do a local research analysis and you do need to be consistent. But I'm going to talk about this a little more. For example, striking a balance is very important. Last year, I was the secretary of the Bombay Ophthalmologists Association and I was pressed for time. And I could not post regularly. That is the fact. So, as much as I'm saying I needed to be consistent, I couldn't. So, what did I do? I did the next best thing. I posted stories regularly. So, I posted stories anywhere and everywhere I was. This is at the airport. And I've been frank and candid. What am I ready to do? Refreshed and ready to deal with? Aankh lal hai, aankh se pani aa raha hai, ye eye allergy kab jayegi? Then, one day later, what have I, or rather few hours later, what have I posted again? What I wasn't looking forward to. खाने में क्या बनाएंगे, चाय पत्ती खत्म हो गई है, सब्जी मंगवाना है. This is the reality what I'm facing, so I've posted. And it's entertaining, it's light-hearted, it's light-minded. It takes me 1 second to click and post this picture. And of course, some time pass along with it. My patient gifted me my favorite mithai, Kaju Katli. So I posted about it in the form of a story. Doesn't take too much editing, doesn't take too much time. So I'm posting about my daily life because of the fact that I'm busy. And on the other hand, these are examples of simple reels. So, and this is another of my reels which took me just 2 seconds to make. I've got 659,000 views on it. It's just about my daily life. I'm operating and then getting back home and doing homework with my kid. So, like we mentioned, you need to be relevant about doing what's happening in your daily life. It took me 2 seconds to make that video, and I've got so many things about it, comments about it. Now, coming to the most important part of this discussion, the NMC recommendations. Now, these are really draconian, so watch out. An RMP is permitted to make a formal announcement in any media only on starting practice, on change of practice, on changing address or temporary absence, resumption of practice, succeeding to another practice. I don't think any of us have done this, okay? But an RMP or another person, including a corporate hospital, running all the following above, should not contain anything more than the name of the institution, the type of the patients admitted, the kind of training and other facilities offered. Again, something which is ridiculous to be expected out of us. An RMP is allowed to do public education through media without soliciting patients for himself or the institution. Now, what is my response to this? This is my take, and we can further discuss on this. Why are medical professionals being isolated? Please, can somebody tell me? Because ours is also running a business. We also have some bread and butter to earn. We also are, running our own respective houses. So I'm not able to understand why is the NMC doing this to doctors, and how are we going to earn our bread and butter when every other professional is allowed to do this? Point number 2, an RMP is allowed to do public education through media without soliciting patients. That's what is said over here. But soliciting patients includes giving them or giving out their details. Like if I have to post a before and after, I have to post that patient's picture. How am I not going to show the beautiful oculoplastic surgery or the beautiful outcome of a squint surgery? So it's a little not meeting what our daily requirements are. And I'm going to talk about this further. There are multiple guidelines, like I said over here.
Little faster.
Yes, this is my last slide.
Yeah.
They should avoid discussing treatment of patients on public social media. They should not prescribe medicine on public social media. They should not post patients' photographs or scan images. And RMP's behavior on social media towards colleagues should be guided by ethics. Everything is a no, 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 and a big fat no. So then it comes down to exactly that why are we being isolated from society? Why are we being restricted to portray these results? If I don't portray a before and after result, how is an oculoplastic surgeon going to earn his bread and butter? How is he going to show what a fabulous surgery he's done? And it should be applied equally, whether it's a private practitioner or a corporate hospital. It shouldn't make any difference. There's been a lot of newspaper articles about not revealing the patient's details to the media, but again, that comes to question all these NMC guidelines that are there. So thank you very much, and I'm open to debate about whether anyone from the AIOS team, whether Himanshu sir and seniors over here can help us change these NMC guidelines so that they actually are in favor of the doctors and not against us. Because I would believe people on the NMC are doctors themselves, or you can correct me if I'm wrong. So thank you very much. With that, that's the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Karishma, for a very enlightening and a heartfelt talk, the hurts which everybody shares with. But let me be blunt enough to tell you, if anybody tells you they can do it, you're mistaken. Period. Nobody can help us with this. No AIOS can do anything about that with NMC. NMC has its own guideline, which is across all sections. So we can start somewhere, but to say that we're going to get any immediate result somewhere, it's very difficult. So let's not worry about that. It will not happen. But how ethics we can do amongst ourselves to see that, as Samita said, to put down everybody or do something else or say that I'm better, I have a bigger one, I have a better one. That is the story that everybody wants to promote. Now, what really wants to be shown is actually that this is what we are doing, this is the target audience which is there, and how can we give them ethically what they want. Patient will decide whom they want to go to. They are not looking at your face. Then leave it to them. So great, understand. I'll come back to you on that. But what you wrote down, heartburn, I appreciate, but all that remains on paper. If anybody gives you promises, take it as pure BS. I can't be more rough than that. So now you said something more. The algos keep changing. The Google algos, the Insta algos, we will never understand the algos, how they are tracking you. You said something important, Samita, that the traveler guys, and so it might get confused also over there. There are two separate algos. So you might lose patients from here to there. So stick to your core competence. That's your core competence. One thing that, that I'll come back, because you're trying to get more from the other sections, but the algo might get confused. I don't know the present algo which is going on, but it's tough. And I know for sure Google algos keep changing. Nobody spoke about SEO yet. Nupur, you have been nodding your head well. You want to talk about SEO? Or Prasanna, I would love to hear a few words on SEO from you guys.
Prasanna, if you want to take it up.
Quick, short, brief, Prasanna.
Sir, I just wanted to add another perspective, sir.
Yes.
So we were talking about patient-centric approaches. At the same time, peer-centric approaches are also very important in social media. So one of the formulas that I personally was able to do in our center last year and a half is we got a lot of fellows trainings and modules because of the programs we started. Be it MIGS, be it the surgical retina module, be it the phaco training. So I think there are much more to the patient-centric, which is the public, but we also have a peer-centric approach, and we also have a pedagogical approach. So I see three arms in it, where you can also use YouTube and other things as a medium to teach and also to reach. So we need to know which arm are we tapping in. And as rightly told by Karishma ma'am, that if you are going into the public domain, there are certain challenges. If you are going into the peer domain, there are certain challenges, and pedagogy also is another.
Prasanna, SEO. My question was SEO. the most important thing is SEO, which is misunderstood by a lot of people. On your website, your SEO traffic, a lot of people spend a lot of money on SEO. I'll come to that with the next speaker. But SEO was what you said is true. We'll get into that a little later. But anybody wants to talk about the website development simultaneously, because that's what everything said was the traffic should lead to the website ultimately. From that's where you're going to get the hits, and how often you should refresh it. What are the keywords that you should be putting? That's a very important discussion. We'll come back to that again. Interest of time, we have the next very important speaker, Dr. Ritija Grover, Ritija Thomas, who is going to be speaking to us on connecting on LinkedIn. Most people don't talk about it, and LinkedIn is thought to be just for a job profile for CEOs, CFOs, and UFOs. So let's hear what she has to say for that.
So thank you so much, Himanshu sir, and thank you to AIOS and Microvision for having me on this. And I wouldn't say I'm the authority on social media by any stretch, but definitely have been trying to use it in the recent years to, sort of put myself out there. Now, as Dr. Karishma said, that the older people do lurk on Facebook. On LinkedIn, initial years we used to just find nerds. Basically, the nerds who are discussing cases and talking about difficult things. But LinkedIn has actually progressed a lot beyond that and is now a very powerful tool in social media, not just to showcase your talent or what you do, but also to actually get a job, which is what it comes down to. Now, I'll focus on the basics first. So the basics being why LinkedIn matters. So it helps you to network professionally rather than just, with the general audience. There are referral opportunities which you develop. So if you're good at something, people know that you're the person to, send that particular case or patient to. And of course, you can learn a lot on LinkedIn based on other people's advice and other people's articles. So have a nice professional looking headshot, clearly define your specialty, what you're good at, and highlight your experience and the passion you have for eye care. Now, under experience, include any relevant positions or roles and achievements, your certifications, degrees, and training so that people know you're a credible person. And add key skills. So when you add a skill, somebody else who knows you or who has gained from you in some way can endorse that skill. Now, the types of content which you can put up, you can share articles, you can put up even the before afters that you put on your Instagram, the reviews that you get from patients, apart from the usual things of which conference you attended, etc. Now, how do you build your network? You first of all join groups where, for example, you're searching for a position in, let's say, in UK. So join a group for UK doctors. So that'll the UK people keep putting up, okay, this job is available now, and you get to know about what job is available geographically where, and connect strategically depending on who you want to connect with, who are the leaders in your industry, and engage with others. So if it is somebody's birthday, anniversary at their job, if you wish them, it always makes a difference. Who to follow? Now, I thought carefully about this because I wanted to just put two people. So one of the people is Dr. Anujit, who actually helped me tremendously with this presentation also. So Dr. Anujit is a very young but very dynamic anterior and posterior segment surgeon. And what he does is he actually puts up a lot of new information. So it's not just that, oh, I did this difficult case or this is the outcome of this case. He puts up about new lenses and new devices that he tries out, and how he helps trainees also to develop their skills. So it's very good for people who are training others to actually learn from him how to train students. The other person is Dr. Umang Mathur. Now, in ophthalmology, we tend to get sort of lost in ophthalmology itself. So that shouldn't happen. getting lost in ophthalmology, I mean sort of that you go into only the nitty-gritties of ophthalmology, not sort of just talking about life as such and practice as such. So is everybody able to see my slide? Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Rituja. Now it's fine.
Okay. I am actually not able to see it right now. 1 second. I'll just unshare for a second. Sorry.
So,
Anybody, Nupur, you would like to talk about Quora meanwhile? Oh, you have a question. Please go ahead, shoot.
yes, so I'd like to ask Samita and Dr. Karishma, excellent presentations, by the way. So this concept of hashtags, that's what the algorithm works. So how do you decide your hashtags? I mean, is it fixed for every post that you put, or how does it work? I would like to, understand that. How do you decide your hashtags for the content that you put up?
So first of all, apparently, hashtags are now not a thing.
Outdated.
No, they're not a thing anymore. They were. Because of the technology updating itself on all digital platforms, every word that you put is now a hashtag. So if you're even putting a caption in the background of your image, the technology is picking up those captions and translating them into words. So you'll understand this better if you open any of these platforms and you type a word, any word, okay, and you say Garba, for example, because it's Navratri, and you will see all the things pertaining to Garba, and none of them have Garba as a hashtag. So the point I'm trying to make is that hashtags are kind of a thing of the past. We used to use them like crazy. At one point, Instagram used to say, oh, you should have a minimum of 30 hashtags. And then I had all these notes in my phones that if I'm talking about cataract, then these are my hashtags. If I'm talking about LASIK, then these are my hashtags. But now all of the experts say that it's very important to be descriptive on what you have written. So just ensure that there are certain words that are describing what is going on. If you still want to use hashtags, you can, but nobody, look, the honest truth is we don't know. Nobody on the inside is telling us the reality. But from Dr. Manchu, I think I can see that.
Yeah, we come back to Rutuja. So hashtag are not really very fancy anymore. That's how AI moves fast. Technology moves very fast. Algos moves faster than us, and you will not know what hit you. What worked last week will not work next week. That's how things are moving that fast. So come back.
And
Come back to you,
I'll just
Rutuja.
add on to it, sir, something very
Yes,
interesting
right.
that apart from the text that we are putting on the posts, even what we are speaking is itself being transcribed by the algo and it is going for all that, how they target it. So whatever you speak on the video itself, another hashtag in itself. So the softwares have become very intelligent now.
Thanks. I'll come back. Yeah, Rutuja, sorry, back to you, dear.
Sorry for the interruption. So, like I earlier said, that you may not find patients on social media. You actually find patients looking for you on LinkedIn as well. So, if they are professionals, they may actually hop onto your page and write a glowing review about you. So, that's nice. Now, that was the basics. So, going a little in depth into how to maximize LinkedIn for you. Just like Instagram or any other thing, try to post daily and stick to a time when you would post. And post single bright HD portrait photos. So, here it's not about reels or having a carousel of photos, it's about putting one thing which stands out. Commenting on other people's posts does help you gain visibility. So, you will see a lot of people commenting regularly on your posts and keep connecting with others. That is, you press connect on their profile to gain followers. Now, if nobody can actually connect with you if they don't have enough followers, only if they have enough mutual connections can they connect. So it's a good filter. There's no spamming involved. It's not like Instagram, and there's a systematic growth of your network. So if you're trying to follow a certain group of people, you will actually grow with them more and more as their connections end up finding you. Now, with respect to pharma companies, this is again something I've seen Dr. Anujit do and something he mentioned is that if you connect with these people, they are abroad. It's like not restricted to India. So you can have a much wider reach. All your posts will be spread much wider and reshared much more, and you will be known as a key opinion leader in your area. Now, with respect to LinkedIn Premium, which is something Dr. Samita actually said would be a good thing to talk about, there are different types of LinkedIn Premium. The one which we like pertaining to an individual is the LinkedIn Career. So it gives you the ability to send the in-mail, that is, message people even if they have not accepted your connection yet. More detailed insights about who viewed your profile, you need the premium for that, and unlimited searches and connections that you can make, and you get enhanced visibility, so you get a badge that you have a premium and you show up in more people's searches, and there is a higher chance for you to connect with somebody who's looking for you if you're looking for a job. Now, I'd like to end with this sort of thing as the last slide. If you just see, this is again something, once I put it on my presentation, I saw a lot of people have been sharing it today also. So this person has just shared this one image, and everybody stops at this because this is something which is relevant, and they're like, okay, how is this lens relevant to this iPhone? Let me read about it. So make it catchy, and you see Anujit has commented on this as well. So it increases his visibility, and the people who are posting these things, it encourages them as well. So make sure you think about each post before you put it, and that's how you build a presence on LinkedIn. So thank you.
Excellent, Rutija. Very well wound up in time. So 1 hour on LinkedIn, 1 hour on Facebook, 1 hour on Insta. When will we work? And 1 hour teaching kids, Karishma. So, and I'm not mentioning cooking for the others. Namrata, madam, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for holding the fort, Dr. Mathur. And I think
Always a pleasure. I can never sit there. I can never do that, but as a fill-in fielder, I can always be there.
no, you are the main anchor. So anyway, I
But it's
think
going on very well, ma'am, about the social media, and everybody is having a wonderful time. These are all very practical person. And now we have one of the still absolute showstoppers in life who's going to be talking to us. The Lamborghini, the billionaire doctor from ophthalmology. We have Rahil who's going to talk to us about the cost, the media implication, and how much should it, how much enough is enough. How rich should make Facebook or Instagram?
Thank you, sir, for those kind words. And can everybody see my screen now?
Yes or no? Yes, yes, now.
Yes, so thank you, AIOS, thank you, Micro Labs. And I think with all these presentations that we've had till now, one thing is very clear, that you may have skills of Virat Kohli in your hands, but if you can't make reels, then ultimately the business cannot happen as of today in 2025. Because what I feel is that a lot of things, especially in our field, ophthalmology, is now being controlled by how it is being put forward in the social media. So I just want to show you here how powerful this medium can be and how this is completely transformed how I am working these days. So 50 LASIKs in a day, and then it became 100 LASIKs in a day, and then it became 250 LASIKs in a day. So these were some volumes that I used to dream of when I started my practice about 5 years back in 2020.
Even after 30
And
years, I'm
then
dreaming of that.
so I started about 5 years back when I joined my father. And then social media came in and it just changed everything. And what I'm sharing today is just what I've learned in the last 5 years. I am no expert. I've had no formal training in social media. I think the only thing worked was that I was an early adopter to it. And what I've learned in these 5 years is that there are basically two strategies that work on social media. One is the content. You need to have varied types of contents to keep your audiences active and interacting with you. And the other most important thing is consistency. And what I feel is that most of the people are losing on the consistency part because it just cannot happen overnight. It is a seed that has to be nurtured over the years till it becomes the tree and starts bearing fruits. And when the fruit starts coming in, that is when the real magic starts to happen. So then you have OPDs like this, with every patient that you see here is a LASIK patient, and we have four machines, two femto lasers, two excimer lasers set parallel to each other, and I'm shuttling between the machines. I have a team of doctors shuttling with me. I have about team of assistants shuttling with me, and we are trying to cover up almost 40-50 patients, sometimes about 100 patients in a day. And all this can only happen through social media. You can just try any other marketing medium. This kind of reach is only available with social media, and the only thing that would be limiting you would be your hands. And everything comes at the click of a button, nothing more, nothing less. So this is the real power of it. And I want to show you this very interesting screenshot here. So this is a screenshot of one of my analytics from YouTube. And if you see here, just imagine the reach that I get through making all these reels and videos. Almost 1.4 crore targeted patients, targeted LASIK patients in 48 hours. So I'm reaching almost 1% of the Indian population just through my reels. And these are all targeted patients. These were all those patients who were looking for treatments, and they came across my videos, and they've been giving me all these views. And the same with Instagram, same with Facebook. So you see here Instagram reels going 89, 90 million. So this is how it the powerful it can be. And now just imagine the poorest conversion that could be possible. So what do you think the poorest conversion could be? Let's say it's 0.0001%. Even if I'm working on the poorest conversion in this industry, still I have 20 LASIK patients every day to operate on. This is the power here. And the standard poor conversion is considered as 0.1%. That is 2000 LASIK patients every day. So it is your hands which is in the limit. So we limit ourselves to 60. So what all can go into making your content? So I'm just sharing what all we've been doing. So this is one type of a content that can go in. These are near and near live surgeries. So we record those surgeries so that patient can get an overview of exactly what is going to happen. And just look at these views, 13 crore views, 6 crore views. This is one of the content that can be created. The second thing that we do very persistently are the live sessions. So then I come online for about 1 to 2 hours, and then the audiences, all the subscribers are joining in. They're asking you questions back and forth, and you're having a live interaction with them. Then when I'm going to all these AIOS, ESCRS conferences, whenever there's a new launch of any machine, any technology, I try to cover that and put it up on social media. That gives your audiences a satisfaction that the doctor is updated, and he's talking about the latest technologies available. So you have more people subscribing to your channel because they want to understand what is new that is coming in the market. Then I keep making educational videos. आंखों से पानी कैसे निकलता है, आंखों में लाली क्यों हो रही है, जलन क्यों हो रही है. So a lot of people relate to these videos. Then you can make patient testimonials. So journey of a patient who got operated. So the patient is speaking to the camera, and we're putting all this content on the social media. Then I'm showing a lot of factory tours. So I went to the Alcon factory, then I went to the Star factory, then I went to the Ireland biotech factory, giving a whole tour of the factory, how the technology is manufactured, how lenses are manufactured. That also fascinates a lot of people, that he's updated with the latest trends. Then we've got certain special equipments where we are trying to give them a macro, a close-up video. So they have like a real kind of an experience about how the surgery is actually done. Then, of course, with that, some element of entertainment also, some funny videos. Then some videos which are involving the social cause. So we took a car from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and we had this whole campaign around the eye donation thing. Then putting up high value achievements which are recognized achievements like Guineas, like Limcas, like the Sadhvesh Samman Awards. Then putting that trust onto the patient that it's a high volume surgical center, so a lot of patients are choosing you already. So videos like 100 silk in a day, 100 wave light in a day, 100 ICLs in a day, that also builds a lot of trust in the audience's mind. Then we are also doing in-house podcasts. So a team of cornea doctors sits together. Let's say four cornea doctors are sitting together, four refractive surgeons are sitting together. They are discussing amongst themselves, and we record that podcast, about 2 hour, 3 hour podcast. So these are getting very popular these days. Then also doing some collab podcasts. So there are multiple channels on YouTube. They are run by very popular podcasters, Ranveer Allabadia, Raj Samani, Curly Tales, Bharti. So we are collaborating with them, participating in their podcast. That also gives you a lot of reach. Then you can associate with other channels which are popular channels like the Lullen Top channel. So this channel revolves mainly around the health updates and new things coming in the healthcare. So you can collab with them. They come up, they cover up your hospital, they cover up the new technology. They have their own set of audiences where the content goes. Then collaborating with other eye doctors. So had a podcast with the Sheetal ma'am, had a podcast with Mohan Rajan sir, TP Lane sir, trying to understand what their vision is. Then you can have other celebrity associations on social media. Then you encourage other specialty doctors to come forward and talk about their own subject. That also builds a lot of trust in the patient's mind that they have a team of super specialists in their hospital. Then when we go to some foreign countries and we do these clinical visits to the hospitals, like this was one of the hospitals in Korea, this is one of the hospitals in Singapore. So we went there, we did a full recording there. So we were trying to highlight, so we had this thing in Japan also. We were trying to highlight that, how Japan market is inclined more towards the ICL compared to the Indian market, which is inclined more towards LASIK. That also builds a lot of trust in the patient's mind that these technologies are globally being used. And then you have other digital platforms where all these things can go, and they also give you a different kind of a reach. Then you can also do collabs on Instagram, something similar to what you do on YouTube. Same thing can happen on Instagram also. And all of this that I've described till now, it is only the 50% part of it. That is only the organic part of it. There is a set of inorganic things that can give you another 50% boost into what you're doing already, and that is the ads. So of course we started very aggressively with ads, but now we've stopped them completely because only the organic growth is contributing so much. But we all have to understand that it is a full-time job. It's another vertical. So so it is not like a side time hobby that you just take out 4 hours for it. You are there yourself and you can manage the whole show. It's a full-time vertical. You need a full-time team with you. You need camera team. You need people to do content research. You need people to analyze what the competitors are doing. You need script writers. You need makeup artists. You need social media managers. You need reputation managements. You need editors. You need a studio. You need PR guys. You need people to collab with other people. And top of that, you need a lot of funds also to do all of this. But it all works. It all works almost 50 folds. So that has been my journey into social media. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rahil. That was quite very well said, very well done with no holds barred. But what was your budgeting thing when you started with it? Your ad
So
spend?
when I started about 5 years back, the budget was about 50,000 a month. Now it has
It was
gone up
about
to
two, three
almost
zeros. You
35,
got
40
three zeros,
lakhs.
or was it 50,000?
No, no, 50,000 a month, sir.
Okay, I thought 500,000.
And now we've reached almost 35, 40 lakhs in a month. But all the marketing budget now goes into the digital marketing. We've completely stopped doing the hoardings, the newspapers, the radios, because they really don't work, or they don't give you that reach what social media can give you.
So when you boost your post on Instagram, it goes against you. So how do you do digital marketing there?
Yeah, so we have completely stopped boosting or putting up money in digital. All this this money is going into creating all the organic content and just putting it up on social media. So on the social media, we are not boosting anything or not running paid ads.
So you're
because
paying the
because
collaborators that you collaborate with, for example.
absolutely,
Like I
it's
just saw
absolutely
something that you
some of
did
them.
with Brute.
And how much
Yeah,
of
so food was a paid collaboration.
Rahil, how much of your time goes into it? I mean, if you have, I mean, how many hours a day or how many hours a week or how many hours a month do you spend doing this? Because from what I understand, it is, I mean, from what it looks like, or maybe we just pay attention to you, it's like a one-man show. I mean, you are only doing, of course, others may be doing, but that is minuscule. And I think that makes a difference also because when one person is popular, then the person is popular. Then, people are listening only to the person. So how much of your time goes into it?
Ma'am, I take about 1 day a week to do all these things,
One
and
day.
usually this 1 day a week, and usually the strategy is that because on social media the audience is really relating to a person, so promoting your brand on social media doesn't work very well. So it's more of a one-to-one connection that audiences usually have. So that is what this name comes in, like an influencer. That is what they call them. That the
So
audience
you're
is
saying now you'll
connected
be
to a
paid as an
particular
influencer
person.
actually. You will get counterpaid for being an influencer at this point in time. You don't have to put any money there. So one more thing which works very well in any kind of in newspapers or the news or you know how Arnav loves chillaving is controversy. You love controversies. So is that a great way to market yourself?
No,
And
sir,
does
I
it
don't want any controversy. It just happens on the default.
It does comes natural to you.
Yeah, when you're putting out so much of content, it is not necessary that everybody will relate to it. So you will always have these controversies, and sometimes they have to be
okay?
dealt accordingly.
Another question, how do you deal with controversies?
The best part to deal is just remove that video and the controversy goes away.
Okay, how much, what percent of content you would have had to remove because of controversy?
Sometimes some people, some controversial videos, maybe once in a month or so. Sometimes patients are not very comfortable with their videos that have been shared, so we may need to edit them. Sometimes a wrong word also goes out, so you realize that this shouldn't have been spoken. So sometimes
Okay.
you have to take them on and off. Yeah.
I have a question for you. How do your patients respond to you having glasses when you are doing the maximum number of refractive surgeries?
Imagine doing the maximum number with the glasses on. What can I achieve if I get my glasses removed?
So do they ask you?
No, but they do come in and they ask this question, and they're varied response, and depending on what the patient wants to hear.
No, but you see most of his photographs
I,
which
I've, I've I've
are without
figured
glasses.
that art of responding to the patient when they ask me this question. Yeah. Yes, sir. You were saying something?
No, I'm just kidding. Whatever photographs we showed of the Insta, whatever he was presenting, everywhere you saw he was without glasses actually. It's only
हाँ, so वो तो करना पड़ता है ना सर, because
बिल्कुल
otherwise the
बिल्कुल
first comment
बिल्कुल
that
बिल्कुल.
comes in कि
So
खुद
that's
का
the
तो
first
हटाया ही नहीं,
practical
तो हमारा
part.
कैसे हटाएगा?
वैसे
He's got a
वैसे
user-friendly number, so he can do away without
नहीं,
glasses.
वैसे खुद का क्यों नहीं हटाया?
तो उसने बता दिया ना ऑलरेडी कि भाई whatever the patient wants to hear.
Good.
No, but I mean, but there has to be a reason why. Even Ritika is
So if
wearing
there
glasses
is
for that matter.
if there is a role model for marketing digital media, that is Rahil in this country. So
Yeah.
there's a lot more we have to take it, a 24-hour lecture, a full session in AIOS, a full 3-day conference with him. We'll do that, Rahil. We'll take
Can
it.
I
Imagine, sir,
ask one
imagine,
question? Yeah.
yes, imagine tomorrow I come forward and say कि मैंने अपना चश्मा silk से उठाया, फिर तो ऐसे ही उठ जाएगी technology. That is what the companies are
So
waiting
the
for.
next question are a very chalo,
Nupur.
so now I'm going to ask you, how much do the
Yeah.
companies pay you for that? For promoting their machines?
That is $1 billion question.
Zero, sir,
I
zero.
think.
They just
Well,
place
we
the
agree to
machine.
disagree. We all agree to, but that's fine. That's personal. I'm not here to pull your leg. I'm not here. No below the belt kind of a
I
question.
think so the
It's just being
companies
very
have
frank because
companies have
it's a
understood.
different level playing field that you create for the company. So if you're not
Yes,
asking for money, then you're wrong.
No, but sometimes you
no,
must be in difficulty, Rahil, having promoted one technology and the other one comes maybe better. And then, how do you counter the previous one and then say, no, now this is better? Or I mean, how do you manage to shift one patients from one technology to the other? I mean, if we ask
Ma'am,
more scientifically.
usually what I do is that at the moment I'm promoting only one technology. So for that time, that technology is the best.
So have you thrown off all the other machines?
No, they're
No.
still there to give an impression
Oh,
that we
okay.
have everything.
Okay.
Dr. Rahel, I got targeted with your ad of Innovise, and then shortly after, because I watched the not ad, but your content of Innovise, and the moment I watched it, then I got targeted with your silk. So if I was a potential patient, I would have been confused. I think
So
Nupur has a question.
you type LASIK on YouTube and see what starts happening, or you type LASIK on Google. That is all how the whole strategy works around it. And I think what we are talking about, this SEO thing, now it is more like an SMO. That's called social media optimization. So that is also another job that all these agencies do. That suppose you're searching for LASIK and you're searching for ICL or whatever, automatically you start getting bombarded with those content. So that is the job of the SMO teams.
So with someone who has never done any kind of marketing, I would just say Nupur had a question. Nupur, go ahead with your question, yeah?
So I just wanted to ask you, Dr. Rahil, that you said you had to remove a few videos because the patients were not comfortable. So do you think it's a good idea to run your videos, with the concerned patients before posting them? I mean, if you can just, if it, anybody could take that question.
Usually what happens is that the patient is here, he got operated, we made a video around it, and then it takes about a week or two for the video to get edited and to be posted online. And sometimes when the patient come across that video, he doesn't feel that comfortable. Sometimes he feels that maybe inappropriate things have gone in the public forum. So then they call us and then they say that we are not very comfortable, so we remove it. Why trouble the patient unnecessarily?
But on a
Or
different
maybe
note,
we try to
ours is a very
understand that.
tolerant society. 99 out of 100 never complain. It's only one possibly. So that's the
Yeah,
difference.
once in a while, and
Yeah.
that patient also we try understand if maybe we can edit the video and maybe we can make it more friendly for him. But वो हटा देते हैं if there's a bigger controversy around it.
Patient को
So
हटाते हैं
do
कि
you
video
get
हटाते हैं?
any disclaimer or anything signed from the patients before you post
Yeah.
it?
So
You do that.
we have made a consent. Yeah.
I'm sure there are actually many patients who are waiting to be featured. Yeah, I doubt it's like the other way around.
Okay, wonderful, Rahil. Don't leave. We are going to have some good session to debate on. We have our star speaker next. The most important thing: building a brand beyond a personality. Dr. Ritika Sachdev.
Thank you, sir. I will need, I think, Navneet's help to please share my presentation, if that's possible. So I thought that by the end of it, we would have had, understood most of the nuances of social media, because actually we've had brilliant sessions. Mine is more philosophical in nature. Like Rahil said, it is very easy to build a face. The existential crisis that every doctor faces at the end of this practice that he or she sees within the lifetime is an eroding practice. That is the reason consolidation is happening in healthcare. That is the reason private equity is coming in, because as doctors, we have not been able to move beyond a face. And that is the reason others are telling us how to run this industry. Sorry, I'm going to be a little, blunt about it, because in 6 minutes to drive home a point.
Just be
Right?
what you are. Don't
Yeah.
no apologies.
So,
Go ahead.
my talk basically gives you thought that is it time to move beyond ego to ecosystems, from being an influencer to being an institution, from viral moments to values. And this is really the question we asked ourselves, because being in Delhi, of course, Rahil is an inspirational influencer. But as Center for Sight, the Dr. Mahipal, when he named it Center for Sight, wanted it to move beyond a persona. And his wish list was that Center for Sight is recognized, even though he is not. So keeping that institution building mindset in mind, still adopting social media and digital techniques is really the food for thought that I bring here. So can you move to the next slide, please? So can all of you help me with what bottle this is? I think the answer is already on. It's a Coke bottle. Without the symbol, we are able to recognize that it is a Coke bottle. So it is visual consistency. Like consistency is important for everything, it is very important for social media as well. So instead of a face being consistent, you can then look at values culture, and visual identity being consistent in order to create a recognition. If this bottle has been able to create a recognition, an institution of healthcare definitely can do so, be it through a visual impression of what colors you use, what values you embody. You can continue the slide forward, please. Or simply the visual identity of your logo, right? So this is the brand strength. Visual identity, consistency, and familiarity is what helps with the face, which is almost instant, but you later have to translate the face into a brand. Otherwise, you risk the eroding of the practice when the doctor fizzles away, and we are all mortal beings, and we want what we create to be immortal. Please move to the next slide. So this is the journey that I'll be, okay, so in terms of visual consistency, another, I think, myth that doctors kind of feel is advertising or marketing is a bad word and anybody who does it is unethical. Okay, so this is just the Coke thing. What I'm trying to say here is that the visual identity is 360 degrees. They are using the same entity and they are going local also. For example, a lot of us feel if we talk in English, we will be able to kind of get the elite patient. The mass appeal, the Bharat appeal should not be ignored. You should have conversations in Hindi, local languages, go vernacular, but still maintain the consistency of a brand, because brand becomes scalable only when it is local plus global. Moving to the next slide, please. Now, why is advertising good? Let's look at a market where there's only Coke and Pepsi. Now, of course, we have Campa. Suppose Coke advertises, Pepsi doesn't. Okay, then Coke wins. Suppose the reverse happens, then Pepsi wins. Now, we would feel as doctors that let us all not advertise. But this is a classic game theory scenario that when nobody advertises, you don't win. You reduce the market share. So doctors who are doing ethical advertising are empowering patient with information and actually increasing the market for everybody. So before criticizing, if it is ethical and empowering the patient, please acknowledge that the market share that is being created is for everyone and join the advertising bandwagon in an ethical and moral way. Do not say that advertising is not for me, because it is something that helps the entire industry when done well, whether it means increasing the refractive market or the cataract market or even the dry eye market for that matter, because it increases awareness and it also indicates your availability for treatment. Next slide, please. Now, we had this existential debate because as every founder-driven organization, it is very easy to tie a personality and I won't say it's easy actually, but it's easier when you have trust that depends on one doctor. However, the trust collapses if that doctor becomes unavailable and you're not able to scale across geographies. Also, it may be easier to build but tougher to sustain, and damage to one person, one algorithm, one social media channel can damage the business. So though it may be a good starting point, a 360-degree approach and brand building is something that I would urge all of you to do within your lifetime. Next, please. So what is the difference in a brand and a personality is that instead of trusting the face of a doctor, having it plastered everywhere, you trust a brand. And new doctors then get access to a patient pool and they are able to recreate the brand. So the exponential growth happens beyond a geography and beyond an individual. And this may be difficult to build, but it is more sustainable, and individual level damage, algorithmic changes don't make this as fragile. Move to the next, please. So move to the next, Navneet ji. Next, please. So studies actually say that if you are building your brand, earlier we used to look at a very 360-degree approach, which would mean radio, hoardings, TV, newspaper. Now the 360-degree approach is actually available in digital, because you have website, you have GMV, you have SEO, you have social media, you have paid advertisements, you have collaborations. So within the gamut of social media and digital, you can create this brand equity. A very important point I want to drive home, and Rahil also does have a strong sales team, is that the brand equity that you create online So Rahil, sorry, I'm just trying to create, greater knowledge. So all of us have a sales team. Mostly. So if your brand is more known, your sales team also will have an easier time. So it is not digital alone sometimes, but digital as the accelerator for the sales engine also. So this would be a myth that you only do digital. You marry it with a sales team, or if you're digitally very strong, your other investments also yield better ROI because you're more recognizable. And consistency comes in because ideally you should be seen about 10 times to be identifiable, because one time you may be dismissed, second times you're barely recognized, and by 10th 15th impression you are able to create a recall value and a top of mind. So you have to be consistent, because from recognition to top of mind requires a lot of investment and effort. Move to the next slide, please. So move to the next slide. We actually were faced with a problem that the better the surgeon, the poorer is his social media content. And this we saw within our practice. Because good surgeons are sometimes introverts. They are not able to communicate. And when you have to create social media content, you don't have to think like a doctor, you have to think like a patient. And great doctors are not able to take off their doctor hat. So please move to the next slide. So our social media content was not getting as viral because we actually at Center for Sight, the average age of our doctors is amongst the oldest across all chains. So we are blessed to have seniors who have great expertise in ophthalmology, but may not have the same expertise in social media, right? And if you are an academic doctor, sometimes the content that you create is so technical that patients are not able to understand and connect with it. This is the problem statement that we faced. So we looked at how we can make it more engaging by creating partnerships or by creating faces which were able to institutionalize the brand. This was a campaign that we did, creating a proactive approach to health over the age of 60 years. I don't want to play it right now, but this is just showing Milind Soman in the context of him turning 60 and a proactive approach to a 60-year-old health. Move to the next slide. Because our doctor videos were not as engaging at times, and we wanted to feature all our star doctors who may not be star YouTubers, we got in people. Sometimes conversations make the content more engaging, right? I mean, Dr. Himanshu sir does beautiful conversations himself. And two people having a conversation makes the content more witty, more creative. And Shekhar Suman did help us in that. So I am just trying to tell you that when you are creating a brand, you will face obstacles like not having great content creators, not having a consistent face. But to surmount that, if you see here, what you take away is Shekhar Suman is helping you engage with an institution like Center for Sight, and therefore positioning the experts in Center for Sight as experts in eye care. Move to the next slide, please. You can do that through various collaborations like Lalan Top and Sehat. I again want to re-emphasize the importance of going vernacular. You can look at Marathi, Bengali, Gujarati, Hindi for us being a language, and never underestimate the power of the local vernacular content. When we actually pointed out Lalan Top to Dr. Mahipal, he's like, what is this? The name sounds so weird. I have never heard of it. And at the end of it, he said that more people know me from Lalan Top than from my Padam Shri. So that is the power of social media. And that actually helps you, again, through influencers, showcase the entire brand rather than a personality. Move to the next, please. This is again the credibility approach. Bipasha Basu was a patient. Having your own patients talk about you makes it credible. But celebrities often not only sign consent forms, they also sometimes have a charge fee if they're as famous. So you must know that all ticks have to be done. You have to take their consent, and their consent for also promoting, especially if you're boosting a video, you need to take greater consent, right? Next, please. But in this, again, you cannot find out the name of the surgeon. Now, refractive was a classic problem because we have a lot of refractive personalities. We have strong refractive surgeons. And when they are unavailable or they become more focused on cataract, the refractive numbers were dipping. And we wanted to also do refractive as a focus, but not have a personality hinging refractive. So we asked, we are known for super specialty eye care with a lot of retina focus and oncology focus. And we realized that the patients need a more youthful, more vibrant approach to refractive surgery. So because of which we created a more youthful channel. You can always create more channels, and though the visual identity has to be consistent, you can create two channels, one for refractive, one for healthcare. You can or you can have different approaches to Insta, etc. So this is what we did because we wanted to overcome the challenge of personality and eventually depersonalize refractive, that we created an experiential and a youthful content around it. And this was our content, Live Unboxed. This was actually targeting the upper range of refractive procedures, upwards of more than 1 lakh per patient. So you see this, the positioning is little tongue, like AI powered laser. The AI powered laser actually is the fastest laser in Asia. So you're creating some buzzwords and the freedom of using a separate brand, because Center for Sight Personality was very serious. We did not want to let go of the advantage that we are seen as a serious healthcare provider. So this is a sub brand that we created, a youth centric brand, approachable, aspirational, and speaking the language of the youth. So this is another thing that you can do. A brand can have variants, is what I'm trying to say. Next point, please. Next slide. It is very important now to create a consistent experience as a brand. And this is where you have to leverage technology. Technology in social media is one part, but WhatsApp in terms of chatbots, calling, etc., because the patient has to be spoken to in a language. Like we heard that the patient should see the same persona that you are. Like if you're an influencer, the patient comes to see you, the persona has to be the same. Similarly, if you're a brand and the patient is wanting to communicate with you, the persona has to be the same. And to do that at scale, you need to use AI and you need to use technology, because it is very difficult to create scale and standards with a very large group of people, because inconsistencies come in. Therefore, overlay technology on it to create the same thing that we were talking about. What you see is what you should get. Instead of the person, now you have a technology, a value system, a culture, and processes. Next, please. So this is really my take-home message. Building a brand is difficult, but it lasts beyond the creators, be it creators on social media or the very people who created the brand. And as doctors, you should have the ability to create something bigger than yourself and be proud of it, rather than feel sad that your brand has outgrown you. Thank you.
Brilliant. Ritika, as always, very frank, honest, how to build an institution and how to grow. Everybody is going through their personal growth, but the bigger picture given by you is where everybody has to be headed towards in life. We don't matter, institution matters. We don't matter, India matters, basically, like that. My forms, my whims and fancies have zero implications. Having said that, Karishma talked about ethics earlier on. Ritika, you said you could take all these things and you can have all these people and show it up. How much does it go against the NMC and all kinds of violations that we all are doing? How much can it land us in trouble? What are we looking at?
So
Karishma, am I right? You said
very,
something right. You showed
very,
some good slides.
yes. So we definitely, there are few ethics. In fact, there are numerous. For example, to advertise a procedure is okay. To advertise a product is not. Right? You cannot advertise implants, etc. If you see our testimonials, a doctor and a patient can never be shown together. Right? So there are various NMC guidelines. We are fairly cognizant of them and they keep upgrading. So they do come with certain limitations, and it is better to abide by them, because like I said in my opening statement, you have to trade viral moments for values. So they will come with their own limitations, but we try and make it, I mean, it's not just ethics, it's of the NMCs. Those are rules. It is also the way you play. For example, never bad mouthing, like we heard. Don't bad mouth a technology. Don't bad mouth competition. Technology, we all know that refractive surgery has various technologies and it's a function of marketing, what is good or bad. Right? So if you see, we have never bad mouthed the technology, bad mouthed competition, posted negativity on social media about somebody else, because that all will come back to you. So if it is empowering and educative, even if you don't have the technology, that doesn't make the technology bad, right? So that kind of honesty, if it is exhibited, it increases market share. Because when you call something bad, you are not actually helping the whole market grow. Because then the patient feels that some doctors are scamsters and some doctors are educators. You have to create greater trust in the whole market and the whole medical fraternity. That is when marketing helps grow the pie.
Take your word well, Ritika, but I'll tell you something. If somebody comes and gives me gossip about somebody else,
Yes, sir.
I will never talk to that person more, because I'm sure that same person will go and give my gossip. So if somebody is bad-mouthing somebody else, that patient who takes that is that personality who will be attracted to you. So it doesn't matter in the long run. But on ethical ground, we're looking at that. Let's have some word from the young generation. Prasanna, come on, man. What have you said and what are you doing? What is the Gen Z doing and what is it? We Buddhas don't know what you guys want.
Thank you, sir. I thought I'm a millennial and happy to be called as NZ. Sir, actually, there are different facets of social media that I personally do and advocate. As Instagram is more for the Gen Z crowd, Facebook is more for the connecting with more of elders. I think beautifully pointed out by the speakers, maybe the parents' age that we go to. LinkedIn is another one which is very promising, and as well as YouTube is also there. So we need to diversify and we need to give our time accordingly to each aspects. These are the 4 things I am using. So what content you want to post in which part of it? So if you are going to solicitize patients or if you're going to promote that aspect of it, I feel definitely Facebook really works well in that particular matter. LinkedIn really works well for peer reviewers. If your peers are going to get connected, it's more of a close-knitted group. YouTube is going to again open up a more public domain, and shorts are the way forward. I totally agree with Dr. Karishma and Dr. Samita. 1.5 million views and more than 2 million views. Shorts, be it if it's in YouTube and if it's going to be reels on Instagram, if you're going to have a public account. And collaborations also, sir. Going forward, you need to collaborate with more people, and that is also going to give more visibility for you in your channel. I think these are some of the things that I really follow. And
So for a new guy beginning his career, just 2 years down the line after MS, starting, doesn't know what is happening, still trying to equipment, trying to put up a place. What is the role that he has to do for social media? A message for them right now.
Sir, basically, they have to just show that they are first there. That is where it all starts with. They have to just be more outgoing, and nothing like starting on social media. As Dr. Karishma was talking about stories, many a times we think about posting and we don't end up posting it. Start with stories, highlights, highlight your stories. Assort it as a cassette in your social media, so that if somebody is going to follow you today, they know that what are the cassetting that highlights you have had. And I think that's the way forward, and be relevant with what you're doing. Conferences are again, if you're going for a conference, what talks you're giving in your conference, your travel logs, all those things, your personality should match with what they are. Like how Dr. Samita actually told, if somebody is going to meet you and if your social media personality doesn't match your real life personality, again, that is going to be a major flip side of how you're going to go. So I think that's the way forward. Make sure your personality reflects on your social media.
Honesty. Honesty, be true to yourself. There's no point putting up a
And
face
transparent.
and showing something else. Fair enough. We accept that.
A quick addition to what he
Sorry.
said.
Yes,
We are
Samita.
underestimating WhatsApp and WhatsApp uncle forwards. So we are already making the short form videos for YouTube Shorts and for Instagram and for Facebook. You already have a bank of patients that come to you. You should be sending out those videos with maybe a contact number or whatever, because WhatsApp is the number of people who forward me WhatsApp videos that they've seen to ask me, will this work for me? Can I do this? Is amazing. So a lot of people are not on any other social media, but they are on WhatsApp from morning to night. So let's not forget WhatsApp as a very key.
Every day, 20 videos of Rahil keep coming to me about the new AI video that is generated every single day. So Rahil, a good one. So that's what I'm saying. So WhatsApp is a good one. We didn't talk about it. We need to know. Nupur, come on, your point that I need to listen.
So what I feel, sir, when you talk about somebody, 2 years past MS and they want to enter into social media. So personally, when I browse through the social media, what would catch my eye is something creative. So how you can, sort of combine a creative content with an educational content. Like how Samita said that her Donald Trump video, it earned you a lot of likes. There's one more, very good social media. I don't know if you following him, Dr. Vineet Mutha. He puts up these very nice, humorous videos, which have a very key kind of a message to the patients, about a doctor's life. So I think that works somehow. Just giving out a routine, just a routine awareness. More than that, how creative can you get with your content? I think that is the way forward. So that would
Wonderful.
work.
Question
So,
from the audience, Rahil, for you. If patient videos are prohibited by NMC, how can they be used?
So I don't think they are prohibited. They've put forward some guidelines that needs to be followed. But at the end of the day, if your patient is comfortable, he is given the consent, the video is out on the social media, and patient is fine with it, that is usually not a problem. But in case the patient is unhappy about it, patient creates a fuss, then I think the best way forward is to just remove it and not get into the controversy. Because then NMC will come into picture and then you'll be in a soup.
So bottom line, my dear friend, whoever asked this question is, pakada gaya tab tak chor nahi hai. So till the time you can remove it and the patient don't mind, this will keep going on. See that you are very careful about what you are doing. This will happen and keep happening. If this is the true story, and that is what I would say, a fact of life that we have to digest. You can't do it, but you got to do it in style. If at all somebody objects, remove it. Till the time the complaint goes to NMC, they are not going to act on it. They are not going to be proactive. This is the bottom line message. Unless you get some medical legal problem or you get into some other thing, it's not going to hurt you. This is the frank, honest answer. Anybody supporting that or disrupting that? Anything?
Also, I think for videos, of course, you can't really obscure their faces, but when you're sharing images of
It's
post-operative
also what matters to you. So, he's amazing, he's done phenomenal work, but you're not getting.
Piyush, on your swing outside in your terrace, there is not enough signal. We are missing you.
Is it better now?
So, yeah, Dr. Namrata, any question that you would like to ask? I think she must be in some other meeting, I can imagine. A wonderful talk, everybody. Anybody has any questions for the other ones? It's a great group that we can form.
sir, can we ask you a question?
Oh, yeah.
Nupur, just 1 second. We have to be
Yeah.
see our conscience. We have to be honest to our conscience as well. That is the bottom line. Please go ahead with your question.
So, sir, we have this question for you. So, as a senior ophthalmologist, with so many years of practice, you think social media is a boon or bane? What is your take on it, sir? You've been in the era where...
It's just something which you have to live with. There is no period. There is no question only. It's a boon. Use it for yourself. If you look at the glass half full, that's it. Newer lenses, newer technology, newer advances. It's all there to stay, period. There is no arguing that. There is zero argument there. It's a boon. It's not if you don't do it, it's a bane. It's up to you how to accept it, how fast you adapt to it, and it's changing damn fast, which is a great advantage for newcomers. Because what worked for somebody in the past will not work for somebody in the future. So if you have an upper hand, like Rahil said very nicely, innocently, when he started, he didn't know what worked, but it worked. And he hit the right string at the right time somewhere. He started early. And
So he worked very hard. I think we should all give him credit for that, where it's due.
Yes, yes.
It's a lot of hard work, Rahil, and I really hats off to you.
My next question to him is, how many years of latency before the fruit started bearing on the tree? 3 years, 4 years?
For me, it was about 4-5 years, yeah.
4 years to 5 years.
Initially, what happens is, sir, when you start posting all this content, it is really demotivating that you get only 100 views, 500 views, and you're just posting, and there's no outcome that's coming in. But actually, the growth, it's sudden exponential that you get in about 4-5 years.
So that is very important message that
I just wanted to make a point. I think Rahil is a wonderful case study. And if you like, we see our surgeries. No, I mean, in all honesty, I am admitting the fact that we see our surgeries sometimes, कि कैसे हम improve किए. Just go over the 5 years that Rahil has spent and he has improved phenomenally. His connect has improved phenomenally. So there is a learning curve even in social media. The longest journey we can, yeah. So even if you see the videos, how he's evolved, how we all evolve in surgeries. So there is a learning curve, and like Rahil said, it is a science to it. Sometimes doctors are not good at that science. Then you have to outsource it. If you're lucky enough to be good at it, good. But it takes a lot of effort and learning, and you get better with time.
I have a question to Dr. Ritika and Dr. Rahil, since you both have spoken about, investing in advertisement and, putting money into it. What percentage of your same gross income, whatever it may be, a percentage, would you put towards your advertisement budget?
So that is Rahil, that is asking you your you already
Revenues.
said
What
No,
is
she
your
said
revenue?
percentage, ma'am.
you can
Percentage.
give.
He's already told us the number.
50 lakhs.
The number he's already revealed.
So that we can back calculate and
I mean, ballpark, you can, like,
But really now, what it is so amazing is that the more money that you put in, the more results you get out of it. So any budget that you
so
put in,
if
it is
you're
going to give you.
starting out, you are already at a specific level of
started,
advertisement.
yeah.
If you're starting out with paid advertisement, how much money of your, say, income or monthly income do you think one should
As a
allot?
percentage, I really haven't calculated,
I
but
think
it is only that this the competition is increasing, the ads are becoming expensive, more and more people are coming onto the platform. So obviously the budget is also increasing with time, because then you have to, for the same thing that you have to do, you have to compete with others as well, and you need to put more money for the reach.
Ritika, ma'am, you've
So classically, the healthcare industry spends anywhere from 3 to 6% of their budget in advertising. Depending on how mature you are, if your center is older, you need to spend less. So this is across ophtha chains and multi-specialties also, sometimes between 3 to 6%. And I think people are now gravitating to more than half of this budget being pushed into digital. So that is where you are. But obviously, the percentage of a large base is larger. So if you are starting out, you may actually even look at 10-15% of your revenue, because digital, actually spending too little is just like telling yourself you're doing something. Spending too much for a small practice leads to law of diminishing returns. So what is very important is to perhaps be a little local, right? And but like vernacular may be an advantage, right? Where you'll be competing with less. Also to be geo-targeted and to really invest in content and organic, because that is something that comes with effort and not with money spent. And as a newcomer, you have effort as a larger currency than money, right? Later you can substitute it with, collaborations and all, but as a newcomer, the effort of organic is something you should make.
and for an established practice but is new in the digital space, which is a lot of the ophthalmologists listening to us, what would it look like?
Like I said, it's okay. I think I have.
No, I don't know. I have no idea about digital marketing that way, but 3 to 6% is what I think Ritika said.
Yeah.
And
It's maybe
Rahil, what do you
what
think? 3 to 6% is okay, or is it more than that?
it should be around that figure only. Also what I've learned with time is the budget has to be gradually increased. So you can't just come in with the 100 crore budget and you feel that overnight you're going to become a celebrity. That is not going to happen. So it is that everyday reach and everyday targeting to your patients and everyday brainwashing that happens, and they see your videos and they start relating to you. That is what really works.
Yeah, and it's not just money, it's a system. For example, if Google sees that you're not replying to your posts, you're not responsive, you've gotten 1,000 Google reviews earlier, now you're not getting any more. So consistency of effort is still required, right?
Yeah,
Otherwise,
so
you will
basically it's
again get
engagement.
law of diminishing returns. Yeah.
People are engaging with your videos, they're
Yeah.
seeing your videos, they're commenting, you're responding to them. That is where that platform starts pushing your videos and they're just showing on the top.
One last question from Namrata, Doc. A
No,
master question.
I think this is something, which we don't concentrate on, which only we concentrate much later in life. And this is something, one comment was written, it should be taught to us in MBBS. So I think we should learn this art earlier rather than later. And I think that way, this was a great show. One, because the speakers were so candid and they spoke from their heart and they spoke everything. I mean, there were no inhibitions at all. And second, because this is such a topic that, it is not discussed. It is just seen, people just view it and then they don't know how to do it. But then this webinar teaches it all by the experts in the various stages of their social marketing, media, etc., at various levels of practices, how to go about it. And thank you, Dr. Himanshu Mehta, for conducting it so well and so wonderfully, getting everybody on board and in unison, that too, without any controversies, of course, because there can be controversies when you have so many experts talking on something which is not written on books, which comes just out of experience and out of sheer solid experience. So I think, and there are many people who are actually already watching on the YouTube. It had to be watched because it is about digital marketing. YouTube, Facebook, and also on our Zoom portal. So I think that way we have to thank Microvision, particularly Mr. Ashok and Mr. Navneet, for putting it all together. I know that they have been after your lives for so many days, but I think this is one of the best webinars and teaching session that way, teaching something where what nobody teaches you about.
Yes, everything you always wanted to learn but afraid to ask.
Yes.
So that is one thing, friends, wonderful seminar, and thanks everybody, all participants, for wholeheartedly participating in it. Before some of you joined, Rahil, Karishma, Sabita, we were kind of talking that we can make a separate group for some beginners.
Yes.
With this kind of a group, a core group, and address questions, people would have questions to ask. And if they can be sorted out, because there is nobody whom you can have recourse to. There is nobody whom you can ask. There is always this shame. Whom to ask. So if anybody has questions, do you guys agree that would you like to be joining into a kind of a group? Samita, Karishma, Nupur, Rutuja, Rahil. If somebody has questions, that of course Piyush leading the gang, Ritika, and of course Namrata guiding the whole way across. That this is something which is unsaid, as she said. It has to be tackled. We have to face it. It's not a menace. It's there to stay, and it's facing us. Swim or sink, adrenaline. This is what is going to be working with us. One more thing for the juniors. You don't have to ask anybody. Go on AI, go on a chatbot, go on Grok. Tell them that I am a new beginner practitioner, 32, practicing in the. Make your question extremely relevant. It'll come out with some brilliant answers. After that, make it even more refined. And after that, if you still have problems, you have great people here on board who will be able to answer your questions. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Karishma, you'll take the lead to form a group, or Samita, the two of
Sure,
you?
sir. Sure, sir. Both of us.
Great. So that we can have some good sharing of what's happening and what can be done. Rutuja, you're not leaving behind, huh? You're not being left behind.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Of course, of course, of course. Now that Rahil, we don't give you a choice.
So happy to address any
Wonderful.
concern.
Great. It's a great meeting, and this is how we can meet a little more often to understand what's happening with the algos before Google starts making more money from us and we keep spending money on them. And Facebook makes a couple of $1 trillion out of us. So we need to work, be Indian, buy Indian, which website we should start for our Indian ophthalmologist. So in English, your content, you are fighting for the rest of the world. A local content in a local language, you're fighting for a very small crowd. So that's your traffic, which is a different traffic. On an ending note, parting note, that I could say that yes, regional language will play a big part in the whole story. Any last word by anybody? Anybody would like to say anything more?
Marvelous. That's the only thing that I can think.
Great. Thank you all very much for a late evening and wholehearted participation. No time restrictions, no holds barred. And thank you, Navneet and Ashok, for organizing this wonderful time. We'll come back again and get all these guys back on board again. And starting a separate group, you can pass that on. If people have questions, they are more than willing and happy. Each one has shared something very important, which they have taken long time to learn. They wholeheartedly shared it. Those who are new beginners, tape this, retape it, listen to it 10 times. You may not read the Gita, but this is the modern Gita that you have to read it. That's something which I would say. Each slide matters, and each of them have a lot of content in it. Lot of content. One slide of Rahil, you need to see how many people are working behind the scenes. Mr. Bachchan on screen, KBC, but there are 50 people around him. That's what is required. That's where the team has to be, the team effort. And Ritika, what she said, that it's here to stay. The institution is bigger than you, and how can we make it better? Thanks, everyone. Once again, and good night, and signing off for the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
We'll take a group photograph.
Yes, I will take and I'll
Yes.
send it.
Ashok and Navneet, can you join?
Prasanna, can you take it for us?
Yes. Yeah, sir. We are there.
Yes.